What were the benefits of the bye week for you guys? What would you get out of it?
Really just working on our details, fixing like the little stuff, like as far as when we're running stunts, like just fixing the steps, trying to, nitpick at the little things.
When you look at Sellers, a guy that's got a big arm and he can run, what are the challenges for this defense this weekend?
Really trying to contain him, because he get out in open space, he fast. He fast in, like you said, the big arm, just, trying to mix coverages up, get him confused so he can hold the ball and pass rush get home.
Overall, what kind of statement do you think this team is looking to make after the Ole Miss game?
Statement as a team, I say that we can play complementary football, all around, like all phases of the game, we all cooking.
Last week, or your last game, Ole Miss, they like to run that up tempo. South Carolina, completely different. How do you guys go from having to adjust to the up tempo and then back to normal? How does that work for you guys during the week?
Man, that tempo crazy. Tempo, once they get a first down, you got to hurry up, run, get back. With a more slow-paced offense, you get to think things through. Compared to with tempo, there's no time to think. You just got to go.
Going into the bye week with that loss, has it been some time to kind of chew on it and kind of get the team motivated to move in next week and start this long stretch of slates of SEC games?
Oh, yeah. Personally, I feel like it kind of sucked, going into a bye week got that L, because you really get to sit on it like that whole week. Usually you get to come redeem yourself that next week. So I feel like us just sitting back, reflecting on each other, because it wasn't a pretty game all around, not pointing fingers, just reflecting on yourself, looking in the mirror. I feel like we're back good.
Yeah, kind of going off that bye week, was there anything on the defensive side of the ball that you guys really emphasized during that time?
Really just, like I said, nitpicking at the little things. Because, it's a lot of stuff we do well, but it's the same sense, there's a lot of stuff that need to be fixed up. So just nitpicking at the small tweaks of things.
I think they're going to bring Haulcy in here. What about the secondary that plays behind you guys? How good are those guys? What are you seeing out of them?
Man, that's a great group. They physical. I think when you can put on tape that your corners and your safeties are hidden just like people in the box, I feel like if I was on the offense, that'd be scary to me. That's just how I feel about it.
Is there something intimidating about defensive backs that are that big in the secondary, you think?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Because, a lot of DBs, they be skinny. Kind of, you can pick on a group. You can pick on one out the group. I feel like with our group, you can't do that. You try any of them, and they're going to be ready for it.
What kind of energy does Blake Baker bring to this defense when he coaches you guys?
Man, he's different. He's very different. I kind of look at him like one of the guys, he relate. And he wears cleats at practice, so yeah, it's different.
Talk a little bit about scheming for Lenore Sellers, his ability to run the football, and talk about practice of being able to set the edge and be able to contain him inside the pocket.
It all plays hand in hand. I feel like on the back end, if they hold up, we can get home. But it's just like rushing as a group, not leaving no big lanes. Because if you step up, it's going to be, he athletic, so it's going to be big. But just, rushing as a group and playing complementary off each other.
Beginning of the season, it was kind of, four-man rotation. You, Jack, Patrick Payton, Gabriel Relaford. Gabriel goes down. Who's kind of that fourth guy you see stepping up? Because, the three of you are obviously going to be out there. Who's maybe that fourth guy?
Dylan Carpenter stepped up this past weekend at Ole Miss. He didn't have a lot of plays, but he made the most of them. And I feel like for a guy like that, he's strong, athletic, fast. Those kind of plays help build confidence. Because I was once in his position. So, just, helping him get out there and get the feel of the game. Because SEC is different. It's different for sure. So just him getting out there, getting the feel of it, I feel like it was a big step in the right direction for him.
I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we're getting to talk to you. So I wanted to ask you, how has it been an adjustment going from Nebraska to LSU?
It's a difference in the weather, first off. That's probably the biggest difference. But, football is going to be football. And, the defensive schemes we ran was kind of different. So that was a little adjustment. But it was all really kind of the same when I just looked at the bigger picture of things.
What would you say you've played for two of the most loyal fan bases, too? Because Nebraska, they pack it out even when they haven't been winning that much, right?
Yeah, for sure. Two of the best fan bases, for sure.
What's Tiger Stadium been like so far?
I ain't gonna lie, it's unreal. I ain't never played this many night games, but just, seeing how they pack it out is unreal. And I love the fourth quarter, like the song they play and everybody just singing along. I love that.
You were just talking about, the SEC being different, and you're a guy that came from a Power 4 program, but what makes the SEC different in your eyes?
Every weekend it's a game that's up for grabs. In the Big Ten, you kind of know teams like one-dimensional. I feel like in the SEC, it's not like that. You're going to get the full playbook every week.
Kyle, you're in a deep receiver room this year, but, at the end of the game during Ole Miss, they kind of had to have some gotta-have-it moments. They went to you time and time again, and you delivered. Are you the type of guy that's like, hey, I want the ball in the big moment?
Definitely. I feel like how I've been since growing up as a little kid, I definitely always wanted the ball. And then in the big moments, I feel like I'm always shine. I always be ready for my opportunity no matter what time in the game it comes. The mindset I kind of have, you got to be ready whenever your number's called. So they called my number out there, and I was there to make the play.
You catch that long one against UCLA last year,
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
So take me from that feeling to then I'm injured and I can't play. I mean, tell me about the ups and downs of that kind of trip.
Yeah, you said it. I caught the long touchdown UCLA game. Then the next week, I ended up tearing my tricep, and it's obviously not the best news you're expecting to hear. It's the first major injury I've had since I played football, but at the end of the day, football happens and injuries happen in football. So just that process, I really just had to have a positive mindset on it. Coming in every day in rehab to making sure I'm getting myself back to 100%. And then just ultimately, because at the end of the day, I'm always come back from it, and just being ready for the next season was my main goal because I was out for the whole season. So just coming back ready and getting out there and playing football again is definitely a good thing.
What was it like getting back into the end zone against Southeastern?
It was definitely good. Hadn't gotten the end zone for a little while, so scoring is always probably the best thing about football, or just playing receiver most definitely. So it felt good getting back in the end zone.
Are you deceptively strong? It looks like you carry a lot of guys with you when you're in traffic.
Yes, sir, I would consider myself strong for the most part. I kind of am a more stocky receiver, you could say. So definitely, I would consider myself strong.
So going into that bye week, being on a loss and having to kind of chew on it for an extra week, what's type of the motivation or message this week that coach is kind of pushing towards y'all as you get ready for a long stretch of SEC games?
Really just focusing on the details because, like you said, we're going in the SEC stretch, so none of these games are going to be easy at all. So everybody just honing on details and getting on the same page so we can all go out there and execute how we know we can, and then just put up the points and win the games that we know we should be winning.
Look, everybody's going to have, their own opinions about the offense. But, for you guys as a unit, what do you want to accomplish this weekend against South Carolina?
I would say to go out there and just make plays. As receivers, that's what's expected out of us. As we always say in the receiver room, we make the offense go. So we just need to go out there and make big plays when the ball's thrown. We got to make every catch, and no matter where the ball is, you just got to make a play on it.
South Carolina, they have a very opportunistic defense. I think they have 3 defensive touchdowns. What do you see from them when you turn on the film?
Yeah, they're a good defense. Definitely, they have some good players at every D-line, from the linebackers to the safeties and corners. I feel like they have a pretty good defense. But I feel like we have a lot of opportunity to attack them in the vertical game and just get out there and let everybody make plays, no matter what it's running back, receivers, tight ends.
With such a deep wide receiver room, you talked about whenever your number is called upon, being able to step up in that manner. What does it mean, though, to have guys around you that you know that if it's not you that they're going to, that you trust in the other guys to be able to make those plays and help this offense kind of find some life here?
It's a good thing to have. A lot of people might look at it as a bad thing, but at the end of the day, having other good people around you, that makes everything else easier for you, ultimately as a whole. So with knowing you have other people that can make plays, it's always a good thing because you don't have to be that main guy. But like I said, when your number is called out there, we expect everybody that's number is called, they can go out there and make a play.
What kind of week has Garrett had preparing for this game?
Garrett's had a solid week so far. He's ready to get out there and go play, and just like everybody else, just focusing on the main thing, which is South Carolina, and going out there and winning.
The quarterback can take too much blame for when the offense is struggling. What do you guys collectively need to do to score more points and be a little better?
I really just say kind of the main thing has been just focusing on the details of everything and everybody being on the same page to go out there and be able to execute because we know the type of offense we can be and we feel we've left a lot on the table. So just everybody being on the same page and just making plays, really.
Coach Kelly said last week was really a mental week. Did you feel that that was beneficiary to, just film and kind of looking at yourselves a bit?
Yeah, definitely it was beneficiary. Just focusing on the things that we know we needed to focus on from watching a film over the loss at Ole Miss and just the other games and just locking in on those things to make sure that those slip-ups don't happen this next week.
Hey, Jay, you've stepped up and you've kind of been a force in the secondary this year, but, you're next to Tamarcus Cooley. You have a lot of guys, Mansour. What's it like playing with all those guys knowing that, like, hey, I don't always have to make the play because they can pick me up?
I just say all the guys that's on our defense are really great players, more veteran players, and those guys can make a play any moment. So, you just go out there and just focus on what you have to do. Also just communicate, and as long as we play as a team, I know we're going to get the job done. So it's amazing playing with those guys.
How was the bye week beneficiary to the defense and the team, you think?
Just getting our communication down pat, just going through the week and just being able to play as a team and just get to just more team bonding. It's not over till it's over. So each and every day we just getting better as a defense, one step closer and just taking advantage of every day.
Most people would say you played well against Ole Miss for the most part, but what did you walk away from that game saying, I wish you would have done this better?
Me personally?
Yeah, and maybe just the team as a whole, too.
Oh, the team, I feel like as a team we could just play together. Complementary football was Coach was saying, just when one team or one of the sides of the football get a stop or a touchdown, the other side, back each other up. So when we make someone punt, our offense score, or when our offense score, we make someone punt. So just play together as a team and just go out there, all 22, both sides of the field, just play together.
What do you have to do against Sellers this weekend to have success?
Just play our keys, play our brand of football, just communicate and just go out there and play our football, go out there, play our ball, and just tackle and run to the ball, all 11 has to the ball, and just play as a team and communicate, and we'll be great.
You're about to enter long stretch SEC games, but you got a couple under your belt now. Like, what's the biggest difference for you coming from Houston now, stepping up into the SEC?
The biggest takeaway I have is just, it's really not a real big difference. Probably the quarterbacks are just a little better, but other than that, it's not big of a real difference to me.
You talked about a little bit the defense and the advantage the bye weeks can bring to you to build upon, but you go into the bye week as a team with a loss and have to chew on that a little bit longer. What's kind of the message overall for this team that coach is kind of giving y'all going into this long stretch of SEC games?
Just have your brother back, play complementary football, and that's really the message. Just go out there and play as a team. Just don't leave one side of the ball hanging. And if we go out there and play together, we could be amazing.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, was there anything during this bye week that you guys honed in defensively to kind of work on?
I say we went out there and focused on our communication. Our communication play a big part to being a great defense. So went out there and focused on our communication, just being on the same page. And I feel like we got that down pat, and we still working on it every day, but that's been a big part and a big focus.
Secondary's been great, linebackers have been good, but a guy like Harold Perkins, he's a guy that's had to move around a little bit, and he's really found that role this year. What have you seen from him?
I think Harold Perkins is an amazing athlete. You see him cover, you see him blitz, you see him playing the run game. Man, ever since I've been here, that guy been like a brother to me, and I feel like he's one of the best athletes in the nation.
I was watching you against Florida a few times. Is there an art to letting the quarterback think a guy's open and then cut it under and pick the thing off?
I feel like that's just something I do best. I feel like I see the game as the quarterback, as the safety, so, I could trick him into throwing me the ball. We win it, so I feel like that's just That's just something that I have. That's just what I do, I feel like. So, yeah.
That comes with experience, I would guess.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That does come from experience. Starts as a freshman, and then just getting those reps under your belt. You see this play as when you were a sophomore. Then you see this play again as I'm a senior. Okay, next time I see this play, I'm gonna, make a play on this play. So, I guess it just comes for reps and just visualizing everything.
Would you say from the corners to the safeties, this is a physically big secondary? I mean, you are big guys that kind of intimidate wide receivers, or you can maybe?
I feel like we are a big group. I feel like all of us have size, and we got advantages to our size. Some guys may be scared, some guys may not, but we come with it.
Being a ball hawk and a difference maker on this defense, were there any safeties or DBs growing up that you watched in the NFL that inspired you, and who were they?
Growing up, I played quarterback, so I was really looking at quarterbacks. My favorite player was Aaron Rodgers, but as I got older and got to the defensive side of the ball, I started watching Ed Reed and guys like that, but Ed Reed really just took the eye, and then that's just someone I want to model my game after. So I say Ed Reed was my biggest inspiration.
Is there anything that Ole Miss did that you feel like helped them generate success that the team can learn upon, especially defensively, moving on into the rest of SEC play?
I feel like it was a few things that we could have did just our part on. Some things that we just didn't do our part, and some things that we just didn't play well. It was basic things that we just one step too late or just not doing our part. And so that's where the communication come in at, and we focus in on that. And yeah.
When you look at the second half adjustments you guys have made, I don't know the exact number of points y'all have given up in the second half, but it's not a lot. I mean, what's it like working under a guy like Blake Baker? Like, how has he really kind of brought this defense together?
I feel like he got the personality and the scheme for a defensive coordinator. Sometimes you might get a guy with a great scheme but not a great personality or not a great way to deliver it. But that's a guy that you would like to play for. That's a guy that's going to bring energy. And when he calling, you just trust it. And if you play it right and you communicate, you're going to make a play.
What about Jake Olson? Because if you guys would be blowing coverages, we'd be asking what's wrong with the coach, right?
Yeah.
So you're intercepting passes. So
Yeah.
what has he done right?
I feel like when I first came in, it was a little I say he was just trying to get established like that. I'm not going to say that he was the coach, but he was just trying to get me and him build our relationship. But now that our relationship is built and we got that type of bond, that he kind of let us go out there and play, So when we go out there, we don't have to worry about a guy just over our back and breathe down our neck. We get a little bit of freedom. So I feel like that's what makes great players.
And Deshaun Spears, still a young guy, had that huge Florida game. What's his future here?
Deshaun's future is very bright. He have size, he have long arms, he very fast, very athletic. He can play multiple positions. I feel like his future is very bright, and he's going to make a lot of plays in the future.
Braelin, the offensive line's battled through a lot of injury this year. You included in that. What's it like having like a next man up? Like Kelly always talks about, DJ Chester's our sixth man, and you had Carius Kern. I mean, what's it like knowing, if I go down, there's guys to pick me up?
Yeah, I mean, with football, there's tons of, bruises and injuries that, that come along with it. It's a physical sport. So there's tons of talent in that room, and it's the next man up mindset. So when you step in there, we're confident that whoever goes in there is going to get the job done.
Well, how has the bye week beneficial to the offensive line, taking a look at things and what you need to improve upon?
Yeah, I've just been big in self-scout. We've been watching all the films from our past games, and most recently the Ole Miss game, and we actually sat down with the running backs and tight ends and just talked about ways that we can improve and hone in on details, but also getting healthy was big too.
You're a veteran guy. You've played a lot of football. What is not clicking with the rushing game? What needs to happen there?
Yeah, we just lack details. We just lack execution. I can't tell you why that is. We're trying to figure that out. We just got to focus in more, I would say.
Not to get too deep into football talk, but it seems like opposing teams are dropping 8 people back, and if you could run the ball a little better, that would, could maybe free up your wide receivers a little bit more. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, running the ball opens up the rest of the offense. So with the inability to run the ball, teams are gonna, drop 8, and then it makes it hard for us and the, passing game to get going. So, as an O-lineman, I take responsibility for that. I feel like that's on us, and we need to be better.
Talked about the injuries a little bit on the offensive line. Can you talk me through a little bit, if there is any, the difficulties of kind of meshing with multiple guys as they get subbed in and out for whatever the reason may be, and that offensive line moves around?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard when you don't get a ton of reps with a certain guy at guard or a certain guy at tackle, but we can't have excuses. We got to go in there and and fight, and the person that goes in there has to know what they're doing, and when they're in there, they got to go. They got to go fight.
You said it'd be communication would be the most difficult thing in that situation?
I wouldn't say communication. I would just say, making sure everyone's on the same page, and then, knowing the fundamentals and the technique, used for their play. Because, we've had people who was at tackle in fall camp, and now they're at guard, or, vice versa. So just learning the technique in each position.
South Carolina had 6 sacks in their last game, 10 TFLs. How do you grade their defensive line compared to some of the other D-lines you've seen, and how do you keep that clean pocket and your QB on his feet?
Yeah, from watching the film, I think the strength of the defense is the front 7. They got a good front 4, and then they got good backers too. So, we just got to be very technique sound and hone in on what needs to be done, and then go do it. That's the biggest thing. We could talk about it all we want, but we got to actually go do it.
Curious, Kern, last week, found out he was getting the start. I think Kelly said it was like 30 minutes before due to the injury to West. And, you're a guy that's played a lot of football. In your opinion, what'd you see from him, as a guy like, hey, I'm getting thrown in the fire as a freshman?
Yeah, usually as a freshman, their first start, you would expect them to be nervous and, go out there and kind of play a little hesitant, but it was actually the opposite for him. When he got the nod, he was like, man, let's go, let's do this. And he played like that. He played physical. He's a big, strong kid. And so when he got his opportunity, he definitely made the most of it.
You've been around the game a while, and the sense of going into a bye week after a loss, is there a different kind of mindset you have to kind of fight through that extra week with no action before you get into your next game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tough that, we lost. It's obviously not the outcome we wanted, but we know we can't, sit and dwell on the loss. We got to, we got to respond. We got to have a great 2 weeks of prep because of the bye week, and then we got to go out there on Saturday and get back on the win column.
What kind of week do you think Garrett's had preparing for this game?
Yeah, he's had a great week. I think the bye week was crucial for him and a lot of the guys to be able to, get a little healthier, but he looks great. We just had a practice, and he was slinging it out there, so I'm excited for him.
When things aren't clicking, when people say the quarterback takes too much blame, and when things are going well, maybe he gets too much credit. But it really, truly is a team thing, all 11, right? I mean,
yeah.
One guy doesn't do their job, and it can break the whole thing down. Is that what you
Absolutely.
see?
I mean, there's tons of plays throughout our season, not just Ole Miss, that, 10 guys are doing the right thing, and one guy doesn't do the right thing, and the end result of the play is not good. So, everyone has to do their 111th. Everyone has to trust each other that they are going to do their 111th. And then you just got to go execute. That's the biggest thing. Everything comes back to execution. That's really the main theme of things. Got to execute better.